It's now all down to a 2-shielded Hariyama to clean up. Of course, I'm going to burn the first Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Dragon Claw, and back out comes Tapu Fini. Fairy's usually pretty good into fighting types, but a Shadow close combat from Hariyama really doesn't care about any typing effectiveness. It's now all shields down. I farm up to the double close combat. The first one will be getting Tapu Fini low, and the second will be removing him from the field of play. The problem is we've now got a 4-stage lower defense. Can we survive the Dragon Tail? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. So welcome back to the channel. Season 20 gave us the biggest move rebalance we have ever seen. And the most surprising one was Counter, formerly the best quick move in the game, getting nerfed. Counter users are now few and far between. Former counter users such as Machamp and Primape are now opting for Karate Chop. Other Karate Chop users like Pangoro have now been all the craze in the meta. However, there's actually a fighting quick move that is a lot better than Karate Chop, and that is Force Palm. The issue is that not many Pokemon have access to this move, as you can see on the screen. Hariyama was recently given this move. I've got one built, so here we are, testing it out. Force Palm really is a good quick move. It's pretty comparable to Dragon Tail. It does exactly the same, oppressive fast move pressure, but you're generating even more energy, which of course sounds like a winner to me. This season, Niantic buffed a whole heap of free turn moves. Mud Slap, Astonish and Fire Spin all got buffed, but they all fall well short of the stats that Force Palm's got. Force Palm objectively is the best free turn quick move in the entire game. So things are looking good for Hariyama, right? It got access to one of the very best quick moves in the game. Well, potentially. Its charge moves are still pretty dreadful. Close Combat and Superpower, don't get me wrong, both very good stab charge moves, but they both debuff you. Close Combat going to harshly lower your own defense. Superpower is going to debuff your attack and defense, and your only coverage move is Heavy Slam, and Heavy Slam is just a shit move all round. It is so bad that a resisted Close Combat is going to be more energy efficient than a neutral Heavy Slam. So the only time you want to throw a Heavy Slam is into something like a Pure Fairy, where the Close Combat would be resisted and the Heavy Slam would be super effective. This intro has gone on for far too long, so without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see the ever-annoying bulky Vulture Mandibuzz in the lead. Already you can see the oppressive fast move pressure from the Force Palms. Team building today wasn't all that complicated. I thought Hariyama's going to be weak to both Psychic and Fairy. Of course, it's going to be weak to Flyers as well, but most Flyers in this meta are going to take neutral from fighting due to the fact they're going to have a sub, dark or normal typing. We land the Close Combat. If 3 Force Palms don't knock out, I'm going to bank all this energy and catch onto my save switch of Shadow Skuntank. Unless the opponent pivots, they are just going to get farmed down. The opponent does indeed pivot, but they send out Shadow Gator, which is by no means a good response. I'm actually going to shield this Hydro Cannon. It wouldn't be lethal from here, but I'm going to look to keep myself healthy. As we're on in Trailblaze, we're just going to go straight for it, looking to vamp up our attack. To my surprise, the opponent completely sacked Gator, putting all their hopes and dreams on Virizion, but this game is already over. Of course, our charge moves today are going to be both resisted, but Trailblaze just going to continually vamp up that oppressive poison jab damage. The opponent forced to shield up a resisted charge move. They do get the full double kick farm down, and we're going to be a little bit cheeky. We're going to send out Hariyama. They're 1 away from the move. We're going to throw 1, catch onto the balloon, and this game is signed, sealed, and delivered. Mandibuzz is still alive. If they look to pivot out into Mandibuzz, Mandibuzz is just getting farmed down. The opponent actually looked to stay in, play to the CMP tie. They do not win. Icy Wind forces the final Protect Shield, and a debuff Stone Edge simply will not get the job done. The opponent throws the Stone Edge, our balloon still very healthy, back out comes Mandibuzz. We resisted Astonish farm down Virizion, and take that game. In the next battle, we see some Shadow and Shadow Crime. Once again, just look at the Force Palm damage. It is absurd. The opponent throws the Hydro Cannon, not at the best timing, and then send out Mandibuzz. We've already seen a stab Close Combat does a lot of damage. We're going to throw 1 Close Combat, and then look to pivot into Skuntank. I'm hoping after landing that Close Combat, I can just commit to a full Poison Jab farm down and leave at 100 energy. However, you can see these Poison Jabs not really doing a lot, as Mandibuzz just never seems to run out of HP. It is so bloody bulky. We finally managed to get him into the red. We can easily survive 1 more Aerial Ace, and then if 4 Poison Jabs that don't knock out, I'm actually going to be forced to throw. You can see the opponent isn't getting taken out. Both moves are resisted, so of course we're just going to vamp up our attack. Trailblaze secures the knockout, back out comes Gator. The opponent lightly shield and look to Shadow Claw farm us all the way down. The opponent does invest that Protect Shield. We've already got him into the yellow health. I send back out Hariyama. It looks like I can shield once and commit to the full force palm down. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, send out Venusaur. I bank a boatload of energy before sending out the balloon. The opponent like, why are you wasting my time? They're going to concede the match as they literally can do nothing. In the next battle, we see yet more Shadow on Shadow crime. Hariyama into Ampharos. Just the force palm damage has got him into the yellow. I'm thinking I easily survive a Trailblaze, but this opponent's actually on Thunder Punch, and ouch, that did far more than I was hoping. We then throw one force palm and the close combat for optimal fast move timing. And as we're so low, I'm just going to sack it and send out Skuntank. If this opponent's on the recommended moveset of Brutal Swing and Trailblaze, we'd completely wall them, whereas the Thunder Punch is going to hit for some decent neutral damage, but regardless, we don't need to shield, we easily survive one. The opponent then sends out Greninja, which is by no means a good Skuntank answer, especially with a Trailblaze. The opponent already had one Protect Shield, unwilling to shield the Ninja straight in and straight out, and the opponent is going to concede the match. In the next battle, we see Virizion in the lead. We got two better responses in the back. I did say I'm safe switching Skuntank. However, I'm actually going to look to bank this energy and catch onto the balloon, thinking Skuntank will be a better closer, especially that ability to just continually vamp up its own attack. So we do catch the Leaf Blade onto the balloon. The opponent then sends out Rhyperior, running Mud Slap, which of course isn't the best response. It takes Rhyperior straight 5 quick moves to each Rock Wrecker. So if we correctly shielded this one up, which we do, we're going to be able to outpace them to the double Icy Wind. The first one, force the Protect Shield. I know I outpace. If the opponent throws before I throw, it can only be a Breaking Swipe, Surf, or a Superpower. The opponent commits to the next Rock Wrecker, getting outpaced. Icy Wind secures the knockout. Out comes Aurorus. Uh-oh. We're in trouble. I aggressively pivot back out into Hariyama, baiting back out the Virizion. I throw the Heavy Slam, thinking if I threw the close combat, the opponent would be able to double kick farm me all the way down. I'm actually going to shield this here as I need to force the final Protect Shield off the opponent. This time I'm definitely throwing the close combat, wanting to give the opponent minimal farm. Close combat, force the final Protect Shield, and this is where things are going to get somewhat dicey. Skuntank is bulky enough to be able to survive one Rock Wrecker. We're then actually going to CMP tie to the Weather Ball and Trailblaze respectively. However, if the opponent doesn't throw and commit to the full farm down, we could be in trouble. Luckily for me, the opponent plays the CMP tie. They do not win, depleting them of their energy. Even if they fully undercharge this, it will still knock out, and we should be able to Astonish farm down before the next Weather Ball is reached, and we're going to take a very close game. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, once again, we see a very tricky lead. I think Skuntank is going to be objectively better into Gyarados, so I'm going to go into my soft counter of the balloon. I think to be fair, you can kind of safe switch either of these Pokemon. The opponent builds to the Crunch, which we actually invest a Protect Shield in, and the opponent then send out Skuntank. With an Energy Lead, this isn't a bad matchup. We're going to be able to outpace the back-to-back Icy Winds before they reach the first Crunch, getting them fairly low on HP. Not only does this get them into the red, it gives a 2-stage debuff to their attack. We're never Hex farming them down. But when Hariyama does re-enter the battlefield, the 2-stage debuff Trailblaze is just going to tickle. Hariyama going to be operating as the damage sponge. You can see Trailblaze literally did nothing. They then send out Cresselia, so we pivot into Skuntank. Skuntank's rose in popularity just because it can vamp up his attack. Of course, Crunch here would be super effective, but as the switch time is 50 seconds, I know the opponent's going to be looking to pivot back out into Gyarados at some stage. I'm just going straight vamp up all the way and hoping we can do something. Although we're so far behind in this battle, a Moonblast I'm pretty close to knocking out, so we're forced to burn the shield here, and once again I'm going for that vamp up, praying we can just somehow miraculously Poison Jab farm down everything. Cresselia is never getting Poison Jab farm down. We're going to look to make the catch back onto Hariyama, but I think I'm cooked here if I'm being brutally honest. Moonblast picks up the one-hit KO, back out comes Gyarados. Again, we're going to fire off the Trailblaze. Trainer, why didn't you shield? The opponent opts not to shield Gyarados. Why? I have no idea, but that is going to cost them the game as Skuntank is going to be able to Poison Jab farm down everything, and we're going to emerge victorious. Yeah, I don't think I deserve to win that, but it is what it is. The first few weeks of the season are pretty wild. In the next battle, we see Malamar in the lead. You can see these Psy Waves are doing ridiculous damage. We fire off the close combat, forcing us early shield advantage. We then pivot into Skuntank, baiting out Cobalion. I've never used Trailblaze, and this is one of the reasons why. If you're going to say switch Skuntank on this moveset, you are fully walled here. In my signature double dark poison team, even in season 20 where Trailblaze only costs 45 energy, I still will be rocking Flamethrower for that get out of jail free card into matchups like this. And I think this season, 0 people are expecting Flamethrower whatsoever, so it's essentially a free nuke. We've lost lead, we've been hard punished on the switch, we need to hope the balloon is very good in the back. The opponent very smartly send back out Malamar, baiting out my third. We are going to have to shield one foul play. I don't want to shield two, and I do not know what's in the back yet. This is where some team reading is going to come in clutch. As the opponents pivot back out into their lead, I'm actually calling that this opponent's going to have something else weak to fighting in the back, and potentially Hariyama will be my win con. Okay, there's Milk Tank. We might actually be able to do something here, but the issue is I am depleted on energy. This is only a body slam. We know we survived this, and the opponent is never roll out farming me down, or at least so I hoped. Unfortunately, it looks like the opponent is going to be able to resist it roll out farm me down. I attempted to force palm down everything. Unfortunately, that wasn't meant to be, and we're going to move on to the next battle. Hariyama finds itself another dreadful lead. We opt again to pivot into the balloon. Of course, our soft counter of a Tapu Fini, where a Skuntank is very advantageous, and this time we bait out Ampharos. We won't be flipping switch advantage. We've already obtained shield advantage, then we get some very good fortune, getting new mechanic. I shouldn't have got this move off. Niantic, please fix your game. However, we do manage to get Ampharos low. We're just going to use Hariyama as the damage sponge, and then we're going to pivot into Skuntank, hoping it can sweep the back line. Out comes Guzzlord. This is where Trailblaze is going to be advantageous over Flamethrower. Flamethrower would also be resisted, but Trailblaze comes with that 100% chance to vamp up your attack. The opponent recognising that Skuntank is my key to victory, opt to shield up a resisted move. However, trainer, I'm actually thinking that Hariyama is the key to victory, so I'm not interested in shielding up my Skunk. We're just going to get him as low as possible, and put it all on 2-shield Hariyama to do Hariyama things. Well, I say Hariyama things, a Hariyama showcase, I want it to do something. We shield up the Dragon Claw back out, comes Tapu Fini. Fairy's usually pretty advantageous into fighters, but Hariyama does not care about typings. We shield up the Surf, we're going to farm up to the double close combat. The first one will get the opponent low, and the second will be removing him from the field of play. I'm now going to have a 4-stage lower defense. The question is, can we survive a Dragon Tail? Let's see. Hariyama manages to survive the Dragon Tail, force palm farms down, and we take that game. Let's go, big boy. In the next battle, another dreadful lead. We're going to do the same as we did last time, the close combat and dip strategy. One thing I will say about Hariyama is so good at forcing shields. The opponent does respect the close combat, as it would hit for neutral and would essentially knock him out. We say switch into Skuntank, and the opponent actually this time go for superpower and dip strategy, which is very nice for me, meaning they've dumped a lot of their energy for when they re-enter the battlefield. Out comes Licky, far too thicky. The opponent is going to need to Earthquake to knock us out. They actually throw the body slam. I could knock them out with this crunch. However, I actually don't want to knock the opponent out, because if I do that, the opponent's just going to sideway farm me down. Energy on that thing is going to be a headache for our balloon. So actually don't knock them out. We're just going to send out Hariyama, use it as the damage sponge, and then instantly pivot out into our balloon. Clefable temporarily enters the battlefield, and then out comes Malamar. As they superpower and dipped earlier, I can just hex farm them fully down, whilst double shielding and leave with all the energy in the world. This game's still not over, as Clefable does have a protect shield to hide behind, and we're going to be a degenerate. I've got all the energy in the world. I am going to bait with the Icy Wind, just guaranteeing getting that debuff off. The opponent tanks the first. Again, I build to the Shadow Ball bait with the Icy Wind. Jamie Finn, you absolute degenerate. Moonblast wouldn't quite knock us out from here, as they are 2-stage debuff. We may as well catch back onto Hariyama. Why not? That is going to seal the opponent's fate. We're just going to be able to outpace now to the Shadow Ball, and Drifblim is going to clean up. Drifblim carrying Hariyama's big fat ass. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see a familiar lead, and I remember this battle very, very well. As a content creator, I think it's actually my duty to address Niantic in any way I can. I don't have the most followers or most viewers, but what I am going to do is my part in getting them to fix this game. You can see I attempt to catch on Drifblim, get one turn lag, so I'm stuck in the force palm animation. Of course, I should always be able to make that catch, but Niantic, this game is a fucking joke, honestly. My connection's really good. I've actually got one of the best Android phones you can possibly buy. I'm playing it on a Samsung S24 Ultra. That's like £1,000 telephone, and it's unable to play this silly tap-tap game. Is there any excuse for that? Well, not on my end. That's on you, Niantic. A lot of bigger and more well-known content creators are actually working for Play Pokemon, which means their hands are tied. Of course, they're going to have some sort of agreement where they can't trash the crappy state of this game. However, although I'm small, I'm going to make sure my voice is heard. I'm going to keep addressing it till Niantic finally do something about it. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you'll know I tag Niantic almost daily with game issues. It's actually got to the point now where they've unfollowed me. They might have unfollowed me, but I know people see my post, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until this horrible game state's addressed. However, we got distracted, so let's return to the commentary. We see Hariyama into Drapion. The opponent says no thank you, say switch into Cresselia, and I answer with Skuntank. I should have actually went the balloon here, but I was still very tilted from the last battle, so I switched like a potato. Not that Skuntank's bad into this thing, but of course Drifblim would be objectively better. I actually fired off the Crunch the first time, because Crunch of course hits for super effective, whereas the Trailblaze wouldn't do much. To my surprise, the opponent shields the first move. I had all the intention in the world of just sacking Skuntank, but the opponent like a potato bait with a grass knot. So not only do we get shield advantage, we even get in low as well. They're actually so low that I can resist it, force palm farm them down, and that is what I'm going to opt to do. The opponent then send out Clefable, and this is one of the very rare scenarios where Heavy Slam is going to come in advantageous. Heavy Slam lands some decent damage. We pivot back out into the balloon, baiting back out Drapion, and it's time to be the ever degenerate I am and spam out some Icy Winds. If I would have actually made the correct switch into the balloon against Cresselia, would have had Skuntank along with Clefable, and this game would have already been over, but apparently I like making this game a lot harder for myself than it really needs to be. But despite that miss switch in the mid game, we should be sitting in a pretty good spot here. I've got 2 shields. I'm going to invest 1 on the balloon, fire off this Icy Wind, switch timer will be popping. I'm going to look to start with Hariyama, which we get. We're just going to save our shield for the balloon at this point. The opponent is going to need to Moonblast to knock us out. If they bait, that's another misplay. The opponent goes for the Swift bait, which means we're going to be able to outpace the Heavy Slam. The opponent can shield, they can let it go, but either way, the result is going to end the same when we emerge in victorious. GG's. So in case you hadn't noticed, I was pretty tilted with the game. I actually took all of Saturday and most of Sunday off. I did 3 sets with this team, which I wouldn't recommend. I just strung 3 Pokemon together that I thought would be fun, and I was just looking to get TMs more than anything. However, Blossom is actually insanely good in this meta, mostly because people do not respect that Dazzling Gleam. If you'd like to see a full upload with Blossom, post it down below and I'll head to battle. You can already see the first Gleam lands in battle number 1, and the opponent says no thank you and concede the match. In the next battle, I actually changed lead because I thought I'm ABA weak to Ice, so I suppose Greninja would make more sense in the lead rather than running ABA. ABA isn't bad, it's just something that I just really can't get my head around. You can see here I actually threw on alignment, anticipating the opponent throwing at good time, and I intended to throw the Night Slash and then catch onto Nidoqueen. Unfortunately, the opponent also spammed the move in alignment, and now I'm forced to shield. We then eventually do make the pivot into Nidoqueen, and out comes Hippowdon. I already know what this team is, because I shoutcast this team a couple of days ago. It's the team no Bonfire Head got all the way to 22nd in the world with. It's going to be double ground. So despite me being down a shield, and losing switch advantage, I already know Blossom is going to be very, very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to send out Greninja, tank whatever the opponent throws, commit to the full Water Streak and farm down. And if Gliscopod returns, they're going to lose CMP as Greninja has an insane attack stat. I'm looking top right. Gliscopod does re-enter the battlefield and dump their energy. This should be forcing a shield as the second ground type is going to be petrified of Greninja. We get the boost. I'm not going to be horny. Shielding because I got a boost. I know Blossom is the key to victory. We send out Blossom. Hello Golurk, nice to see you. Nice. Really straightforward win con from here. We can tank 1 move. Mod slaps are going to be resisted. We're going to return fire with the Leaf Blade. If this Leaf Blade goes shielded, we're just going to farm up to 2 further Leaf Blades. We're going to shield up this next Shadow Punch. Ensure our Dance Little Flower has double charge move. I actually think I've already got double. We overfarm by 1 for no reason whatsoever. 1 Leaf Blade removes Golurk from the field of play, and 1 Leaf Blade will be knocking out Gliscopod, and we're going to emerge victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Greninja into Jellicent, a very, very nice lead for us. The opponent say switches into Goodra. We don't really have the best answer for Goodra, but we are going to opt for Nidoqueen. My Nidoqueen's been built for like 3 or 4 years. It's non-XL. Back when we used to have Ultra League Premier Classic, it's a 14-15-15, so we're not tanking these Dragon Rests particularly well. I anticipated the no shield because most people just spam Poison Fangs, but my Earth Power goes shielded. And now from a great lead, we find ourselves in a tricky spot. I respect the potential Thunder Punch. The opponent's actually got Power Whip. Interesting, non-legacy. Greninja has an insanely high attack stat, but unfortunately 1 Night Slash won't be lethal. I'm going to bank a Night Slash for the road and then send out Blossom to operate as the damage sponge. We're also going to get a very cheeky running start, knowing Jellicent has nowhere to run and nowhere to hide on this team. Blossom leads with the Leaf Blade, back out comes Jellicent. I imagine the opponent just looking to completely bin this thing. 2 Leaf Blades will be lethal and we win charge attack priority. So I'm going to throw the next Leaf Blade on the CMP tie. I imagine this thing's just getting sacked, and it is. What is that third? The opponent's third is Guzzlord. Pretty good into the remainder of our team, right? But we've got that Hail Mary. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. One shot from absolute full health. For those of you wondering, it actually has 115% of their health, despite not getting same type attack bonus. In the next battle, we see Lotix in the lead. The opponent safe switches into Ampharos, and here comes Blossom. A very nice matchup for us. Grass does resist electric, and these non-stab brutal swings don't do too much. My Blossom, unlike my Nidoqueen, has very good PvP IVs. It's like a rank 3 and it's maxed out all the way at level 51 and best buddy equipped. We easily tank one further move. For some reason, the opponent throw the Trailblaze, looking to vamp up their attack. We then overfarm before firing off the next Leaf Blade, ensuring we're going to be able to reach the Gleam should Lotix want to re-enter the battlefield. The opponent sends back out Lotix, do they know? Because if they don't know, they're about to find out. Dazzling Gleam picks up the one-hit KO. Get that Lotix off my screen, and Blossom claims another soul. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is going to wrap things up for today's video. A bit of an unorthodox video. We started off with a Hariyama showcase. We then addressed the game state, and then we did some bonus battles. So let's talk about Hariyama. Is it any good with Force Palm? Well, Force Palm's good. Hariyama's charge moves are abysmal. It just needs a cheaper move. We've had something like Cross Chop, something that didn't debuff us, and a better coverage move. Even an Elemental Punch would make it more playable. So unfortunately for now, it is stuck as Fun Spice. The game state currently on Android, I'd actually go as far as to say, is almost unplayable. It is shocking. I'm going to continue to do my part and reach out to Niantic. So if you'd like to get behind me on that, head over to Twitter and share my post. I'm tagging them almost daily with issues, and hopefully eventually they will offer a response. While we put up with the game in this shocking state, I'm not trying to climb whatsoever, I'll be honest. I'm just going to run some fun Spice picks like Shadow Blossom. If you'd like to see the full Blossom upload, post it down below, and I'll head back to this dreaded game, get some battles done, and bring you that content. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.